The alien queen hugged her princess, then told the human soldier a secret that changed him. The war between Earth and the Jirani Empire had lasted long enough to carve trenches not just across battlefields but into men's souls. Captain Elias Kane had seen more than his share of fire, loss, and silence in the aftermath of destroyed cities. When his squad was cut down during the ambush on Vela Prime, he expected to be another name carved into a memorial wall. But fate, or perhaps something stranger, had other plans. Bleeding, dragging his left leg, and running out of ammunition, Elias stumbled into the ruins of a crystalline temple hidden deep in the mountains. The sky burned crimson with alien firestorms, and every shadow felt like it carried the claws of an enemy. Inside, he expected to find death. Instead, he found her. The alien queen. Tall, draped in flowing silver fabric that shimmered like liquid moonlight, her crown was no ornament. It was a living lattice of bioluminescent vines that pulsed with each heartbeat. Her eyes, enormous and luminous, studied him not with hatred but with something Elias couldn't understand at first: grief. Beside her stood a young girl, smaller, fragile, her features a softer mirror of the queen's. The princess clutched her mother's hand, her wide eyes darting nervously between the stranger in human armor and the towering figure of her protector. Elias froze, weapon raised. His orders were clear. Jirani royalty were not just enemies, they were symbols of everything Earth fought against. Taking them alive was impossible. And yet, his finger did not move. The queen bent down, embracing her daughter. The princess pressed her face into the queen's chest, trembling, and the queen whispered something in a melodic language Elias didn't understand. Then she lifted her gaze to him. "Human," she said, her voice both steel and silk. "If you meant to kill us, you would have done so already. Put down your weapon." Her words pierced deeper than any blade. Elias lowered his rifle, his breath ragged. "Why aren't you calling your guards? Why aren't you finishing this?" The queen smiled sadly, stroking the princess's hair. "Because there are no guards left. Because the palace has already fallen. And because I know you are not here to kill a child." Her calmness unnerved him. His whole life, the Jirani had been painted as monsters, cruel, manipulative, merciless. Yet here was their queen, embracing her daughter with a tenderness that was universally human. The princess peeked out from the safety of her mother's arms and whispered timidly, "Is he going to hurt us?" "No, my star," the queen answered. "Not him. Not this one." Something inside Elias cracked. He had lost his own younger sister years ago when the first wave of the war scorched Earth cities. Seeing the princess reminded him of the girl he never got to protect. "I don't understand," Elias muttered. "Why are you telling me this? Why show mercy to an enemy?" The queen's eyes shimmered, not with tears but with a light that seemed to come from within. She motioned for him to step closer. "Because, human soldier," she said, "there is a truth you must hear, one that will change the course of everything you think you know." Elias hesitated but obeyed. The princess clung tighter to her mother as he approached, but the queen did not flinch. She waited until he was close enough to hear her whisper. "You are not our enemy," she said softly. "You never were." The words struck him like a blow. "What do you mean? We've been fighting for years. Millions are dead." "Don't tell me." "It is not your people who waged this war," the queen interrupted. "It is the Council of Earth. And it is not my people who began it either." It was orchestrated, guided, manipulated by a third force, one that thrives on keeping us apart. Elias's heart pounded. "That's impossible. We've seen the ships, the weapons." "Think," the queen urged, her voice almost desperate now. "Why do your generals always know where to strike? Why do my fleets always fall into traps too precise to be chance? There is a hand behind the curtain, soldier. And it is neither human nor Jirani." Elias felt his throat tighten. Memories of suspicious missions, of orders that made no sense, of comrades sacrificed for victories that seemed hollow. They came flooding back. Could she be telling the truth? The queen lowered her gaze to her daughter, then back at him. "The princess is the last of my line. If I fall, the Jirani throne dies with me. And yet I would entrust her future to you, because you have already chosen mercy." Elias stumbled back. "Me? I'm just a soldier. A broken one at that. I can't." "You can," the queen said firmly. "Because you will see what others refuse to see. Because you have lost, and those who know loss can guard life with greater strength than those who never have." Her hand reached out, and Elias hesitated before taking it. Her skin was warm, almost humming with energy. "What do you want from me?" he whispered. "Take her," the queen said. "Protect her, and carry this secret back to your people. Show them the war is a lie." Elias's breath caught. "You're asking me to betray my world." "I am asking you to save it," the queen corrected. The princess looked up at him then, her eyes wide and uncertain. For the first time, Elias saw not an alien child, but just a child, scared, clinging to her mother, desperate to survive. He wanted to refuse. He wanted to turn and walk away. But something in the queen's gaze anchored him. He saw the same fierce love his own mother once carried, the same fire that made a person sacrifice everything for those they cherished. Outside, the sound of approaching ships rumbled through the mountains. The queen straightened, pulling her daughter into one last embrace. She kissed the princess's forehead and whispered, "My star, remember who you are. Remember the truth." Then she turned back to Elias, her expression hardening. "Go. Now. Take her and run. If they find you here, neither of you will survive." Elias swallowed, his chest tightening. "What about you?" The queen's smile was sad but resolute. A queen's duty is not to live forever. It is to ensure her people's future does. And before he could argue, the chamber doors thundered open with the crash of enemy soldiers. The queen lifted her hands, energy flaring from her crown like a living storm. "Run," she commanded. Elias grabbed the princess's hand and pulled her toward a side passage, her small steps stumbling to keep up with his long strides. The last thing he saw before the stone walls swallowed them was the alien queen, standing tall against the flood of armored invaders, her light blazing like a dying star. They ran through winding tunnels until the sounds of battle faded behind them. The princess clung to him, tears streaking her luminous face, and Elias's heart broke with every sob. When they finally emerged into the night air, Elias collapsed to his knees, pulling off his helmet. The princess pressed against him, trembling. And in that moment, Elias Kane understood the weight of the secret he carried. The war he had bled for was a lie. The queen had given him her child, her legacy, her trust. He was no longer just a soldier. He was the guardian of a princess, and perhaps, the bearer of peace between two worlds. And for the first time in years, Captain Elias Kane felt something he thought had died on the battlefield long ago. Hope.